And, well, I don't know if you're going to recognize this one, but on my way out, I chanced to step into one of the little ante rooms where you keep a lot of tools, and I took this off of the wall as a perfect example. So I really do think we're probably going to be finding these carefully decorated things. Look at the care that she took. So in that way, I think it exemplifies the kind of sense of humor that she had was affectionate. You know, she loved JJ, and she loved the stockroom.
She told me, I wrote a list. I started writing down a list of all the dingleberries I found and where I found them. Well, I had about 25 dingleberries. Two places I found them. And so I showed her one day, and I said, well, okay, have I found them all? She looked at the list, and she goes, keep looking. But I'm retired, so whoever shit around in the then he opened a drawer, a cabinet, and go, what is that?
And I'm sure we'll be doing it for years.
I think so.
It sounds like the classic Kerry, and it's amazing to me how many people's lives she affected. I come from the first phase of her life. I'm her friend Greg, and we grew up together in Great Falls, Montana. We were born 10 days apart in November of 1969. Kerry was November 19th, and I was November 9th, and we loved the fact that we were both Scorpios. Growing up in Great Falls, we did all sorts of things together. We did puppet shows together. We listened to music together. We read Stephen King books together. And we toilet papered houses together. So some of these things your parents might not know about, but we jumped off the Warden Bridge into the Missouri River together. One of the better shenanigans was that one night a group of our friends went around town and gathered up as many for sale signs as we could find. And so we had trumpets of these house for sale signs. Then we took them up to the top of this local hill, top of Bellevue neighborhood. And then we lined them all up on the top of the hill so that when you were driving down the road, your headlights would shine across it at night. You'd see this big white stripe across the top of the hill for sale signs. But I think the best shenanigan was probably, it was one that I actually chickened out on, so I didn't see it to completion. It was a really good one. But I think she was there for the whole thing. And so the goal was to put a garbage can upside down on top of the flagpole. You knew about this one, okay? On top of the flagpole over at CMR High School. And so the way this was done was to take a broomstick, and you put two holes in the broomstick for the flag clips to clip onto. You turn the garbage can upside down on top of the broomstick. Then you raise the flag, the broomstick goes to the top, and at the top the garbage can tips over on top of the pole, and you lower the broomstick and leaves the garbage can up on top. Now, I heard about how this went during the process, and apparently it kept getting snagged up, and then this metal garbage can ended up falling 70 feet to the ground several times. Bang! And this is, in a neighborhood at nighttime. But they kept doing it. To beat the police to the side, and they kept doing it until they got it on there, and they got it to work. And then the next day, there was a picture of that on the front page, and everyone was like wondering, how the heck did someone get a garbage can on top of this? We did other things. We ran against each other for president of the senior class. We both lost, actually. We're all control freaks, I guess. We all wanted to be in control. Kerry was my first prom date. And, but after high school, we went different ways to different states for education stuff. But it was interesting that even though it's sometimes several years would go by whenever we touch base and talk, it was like no time had passed at all. And so she was so easy to talk to and really connected well with everybody. Cancer is my life. I work as a surgical pathologist, and I moderate the meetings up in Washington in our community of Bellingham, where we discuss and plan treatment for all the cancer patients. In 2010, we reviewed almost 2,000 patients, and with so many patients, it can be a little bit easy to get desensitized to what we're actually discussing. Just this last Monday, there was a medical staff meeting at which I was to give a talk, and I chose that time to tell Kerry's story. The room was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. And I cried in front of 250 people. It was really wonderful because it reminded me why I do what I do. But that's Kerry. She's the perennial educator. With her energy, her can-do attitude, and her enthusiasm, she taught me as a kid, as a teenager, and now she's still teaching me now. What would you do if you knew you could not fail? Seize the moment. I might add that today, for the very first time on a trip, I rented the Mustang convertible instead of the economy car. That's what she would have liked. And so, in a sense, she's gone, but also I'll always carry Parker with me for the rest of my life.
Hi, everybody. I'm Aaron. I'm Kerry's graduate student. And when I actually heard a week and a half ago from Jan what had happened, and I knew I was going to be talking, I didn't know what I was going to say. I was sitting in Kerry's office last week and just kind of cleaning up, looking through some things, and wondering, dang, what the heck am I going to do now? I'm lost. I lost a sister. You know, I never thought I'd develop this bond with her. Initially, she was a professor, but she became so much more than that to me. If you've ever been in the room with Jan and Kerry both ganging up on you at once, it's really, really tough. So, Bob, you know what I'm talking about. Jim, you do too. Yeah, two very intelligent people giving you lashings is not fun. So, they seem to continue. But I actually found a huge pile of thank you letters from students. And I think, what better way to kind of show the influence she had from the words of students. So I found one that I really think hit home on who Kerry was. So I'm going to go ahead and read that. I'm going to leave the names out because it is quite personal, but I think it's a good representation of the influence she had on students in NAU.